Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be testing the demo of Cronos the new dawn on my Rog Ally that comes with Windows 11 Radeon 780M GPU based on RDNA 3 architecture. I'll be showing you how to use the INT8 version of FSR for Upscaler in conjunction with XeSS or FSR frame generation. We'll be using Optiscaler mod to achieve this. With XeSS frame gen, XeSS low latency mode will work, and with FSR frame gen anti-lag will work. These technologies will help in cutting down the latency. Now this game consumes a lot of VRAM. Even when running on low settings, VRAM usage can easily exceed 7 GB even when running the game at 720p resolution on Rog Ally. Yes, you heard it right. So I'll be using Ultra Plus mod to reduce the VRAM usage, but even with the mod installed, the game will exhibit stuttering from time to time. On Rog Ally, it's recommended to use the game's very low graphics preset for a more stable experience, but with this preset, in-game upscaler stops working, so you won't be able to use FSR for upscaler. The game officially supports FSR 3.1 and XeSS 2 upscalers. The latter produces a better looking image than the former, less texture shimmering. First I'll run the game without any mods installed, show you the base game performance. Adrenaline settings for the game, FreeSync on. I have set the UMA buffer size to 7 GB. My Ally is running on BIOS version 342. Install Ally's latest official GPU driver that adds support for Battlefield 6. Using a 27 watts manual profile, all three power values set at 27 watts. CPU boost disabled, 720p resolution. Connected my FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro controller to Ally via Bluetooth mode, X input controller. We'll be using RTSS and Afterburner to show you the performance stats. Just open RTSS, click on Setup, scroll down to the end. Make sure enable frame rate limiter and inject NVIDIA Reflex latency marker settings are disabled. Enable use Microsoft D2's API hooking setting. Launch the game. Shaders will get compiled at startup. Unfortunately, the game will still exhibit some stuttering. Display settings. Screen mode set to borderless, required for using XeFG. 720p resolution, ray tracing off, VSync off. Frame generation disabled for the time being. In order to use FSR frame generation, you need to set the upscaler to FSR, not XeSS. See, don't have access to frame generation setting now. First I'll run the game without frame generation, so I'll use XeSS to upscaler using the upscaler's quality preset. In-game quality preset set to low. Motion blur chromatic aberration off. There is a character, the traveler, looking for our predecessor. It's our objective. Head to the predecessor's last known location. It's a single player survivor horror game developed by Team Bloober, same team behind Silent Hill 2 remake. Keep an eye on the VRAM usage. 6 GB, oh my god. Massive FPS drop. Game is stuttering. VRAM usage increased to around 6.7 GB. Ally comes with 16 GB of physical memory, which is shared between the CPU and the GPU. It's struggling a lot here. Now we are outside. Constant stuttering. See the spikes on the frame pacing graph. Yeah, very disappointing performance. Game running on low settings, 720p resolution. Upscaler's preset set to quality. Okay, I'll just drop the in-game graphics preset to very low preset. Load the same sequence. Yeah, now we are getting close to 80 FPS. Big improvement in terms of performance. If you want to play the game on Rog Ally, better to stick with very low preset. Upscaler is not working. I can observe some shimmering around my weapon and character model. See, here you can see the shimmering effect on the stairs here. Not even moving the camera. Stuttering. Very high VRAM usage even with the very low graphics preset. Close to 5.5 GB. Yeah, you can drop the UMA buffer size setting to 6 GB when using the very low graphics preset. Game froze for half a second. When I left the compound, it's still stuttering. See, okay, now I'll install Optiscaler mod. Also install Ultra Plus mod to reduce the VRAM usage. We'll be using Optiscaler's Preview 4 version 0.9.0 20250922 build, available on their Discord server. We'll give the link to their Discord in the description of the video. Just click on the .7z link here. I'll be using OptiPatcher to unlock the in-game DLSSG settings. Won't be using Optiscaler's DXGI spoofing feature. Download OptiPatcher version 0.33 from GitHub. Give its link in the description. Expand the asset section. Click on the .asi link here. FSR SDK was leaked a couple of months ago. It included files corresponding to the INT8 version of FSR4 Upscaler. These files could be used to compile an FSR4 DLL. Big thanks to Reddit user athlete-dependent926 for doing this and sharing the file with the community. Click on the Go file link here. From this page you need to download AMD Fidelity FX Upscaler tx12.dll file by clicking on the download icon next to it. You can download the Ultra Plus mod for the game from Nexus Mods website. It's free. Just need to have a free Nexus Mods account in order to download any stuff from here. Just click on Files here, File section. Download the latest version of the mod. At the time of recording this video, it's version 0.2.8. Click on Manual Download. Click on Slow Download. The download will start. Now I'll install Optiscaler mod. Just open its archive file. Select the highlighted files: Optiscaler.ini, Optiscaler.dll, libxeSS_fg.dll, XeSS framechen file, DXLAN version of XeSS super resolution not required, libxeSS.dll, XeSS super resolution file for DX12 and Vulkan APIs, libxeLL.dll, XeSS low latency mode file, fake nvapi.ini, fake nvapi.dll. Fake NV API will replace the in-game reflex implementation with XeSS low latency mode or anti-lag 2 depending on the frame generation technique that we enable. Not using Nukem 9's mod. Vulkan version of Fidelity FX not required. Select all of the DX12 versions of Fidelity FX files. Right click, copy. Need to paste these files in the game's install directory. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files. Open Cronos folder, binaries folder, Win64 folder, paste everything here. Replace. Now we just need to change the name of Optiscaler.dll file to dxgi.dll. Select the file, right click, rename. Just type dxgi. Now just open Optiscaler.ini file. Scroll down until you find spoofing section. Under this section look for a line named dxgi. There it is. Just set it to false. Disable dxgi spoofing. Scroll down again until you find plugin section. From here just set load ASI plugins to true. Click on file, save, close. In the directory where you install Optiscaler mod, need to create a new folder and name it as plugins. In this plugins folder we need to paste optipatcher.asi file. Just copy optipatcher.asi file that you downloaded from GitHub. Open the game's install directory. Just go to the directory where you created plugins folder. Binaries Win64 right here. Open plugins folder. Paste the ASI file. Now I'll install INT8 version of FSR4 Upscaler. Just copy its AMD Fidelity FX Upscaler tx12.dll file that you downloaded from Reddit. Paste it in the game's install directory where you install Optiscaler mod. Replace the existing file. Open Cronos folder, binaries folder, Win64 folder. Paste the file here. Replace. Now I'll install Ultra Plus mod. I won't be using the graphical tweaks provided by Ultra Plus mod. Only use it to reduce the VRAM usage by executing a console command that lowers texture streaming VRAM allocation. Open the mods archive file. Open Cronos folder. Copy binaries folder. Don't copy content folder. It includes the mods pack file. Now open the game's install directory. Open Cronos folder. paste binaries folder here. Open it. Open Win64 folder. In this directory, UE4SS folder and dwmapi.dll file should be present. In-game display settings same as before. Display mode set to borderless, 720p resolution, no FPS cap applied, VSync off. Upscaler set to DLSS. Optiscaler mod is working using the Upscaler's quality preset. Games quality preset set to low. Motion blur chromatic aberration off. Now I'll execute a console command that will lower texture streaming, VRAM allocation. Open the console command window by pressing the tilde key. This key is present right above the tab keyboard key. Just type the following command: r.streaming.poolsize space 1024. I'll provide this command in the description of the video. Need to execute this command every time we launch the game. Now just open Optiscaler menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. There it is. I'll increase its size. Click on the drop down bar next to menu UI scale. Set the value to 1.1. Upscaler selected XeSS version 2.0.2. I'll change it to FSR 4. Click on the drop down bar next to change upscaler and select FSR 3.x as the option. Click on change upscaler again. FSR 4 selected. Input in-game DLSS upscaler TXT spoofing off. Auto explore setting on. Frame generation disabled for the time being. Models setting set to default. It automatically selected model 1 for me, which corresponds to the in-game upscaler's quality or ultra quality preset, so it's fine. I'll enable Optiscaler's performance overlay, expand FPS overlay section. Check the setting FPS overlay enable, full plus graph, scale 1.3. Base resolution 853 by 480 pixels upscale to 720p resolution. Save INT8 close. Yeah, there is a character. Image quality here is looking sharp. Not observing any ghosting around the character model, so that's good to see. Upscaler cost is around 3 milliseconds. Keep an eye on the VRAM usage. Leave the compound. Without the mod installed, here VRAM usage was around 6.5 GB. Game is still stuttering, so that's very disappointing. And now we are outside. VRAM usage is close to 6 GB. Autosave. It's causing some stuttering. Yeah, VRAM usage is below 6.1 GB with Ultra Plus mod installed. But it's still not a smooth experience. Okay, now I'll show you how to enable XeSS frame gen. FPS is all over the place in this game on Rog Ally. Open Optiscaler menu, click on the drop down bar next to FG source and select DLSSG via Streamline as the option. The game supports DLSS frame generation and a Streamline version newer than version 2, so this option will work fine. We won't be required to deal with hotfix. Click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG as the option. If you want to use FSR frame generation for some reason, just select FSR FG as the FG output. I'll stick with XeFG. Click on save INT8 close. Restart the game. Play. After restarting the game, you need to enable the in-game DLSS frame generation setting, Upscaler DLSS. Execute the console command again. Open Optiscaler menu, check the setting active under frame generation XeFG. This will enable XeSS frame gen, frame time graph became thick. XeSS frame gen debug view, enable it. You will see these purple sidebars if XeSS frame gen is working. Disable the debug view. I'll just use XeSS inspector app to verify the status of XeSS features. Minimize the game. Run inspector app. Select the game from this list. Double click XeSS frame gen context. It's running. XeLL context. Low latency mode is on. Can see the valid frames getting generated. All good here. Back to the game. You can observe the added amount of smoothness. FPS increased to around 70. Leave the compound. In this area the game always stutters. Yeah, FPS dropped to around 45. It's not a silky smooth experience, but with Ultra Plus mod and Optiscaler mods installed, experience is much better than the out of the box experience. VRAM usage 6.2 GB. Frame generation increases the VRAM usage. Still, VRAM usage is less than 6.5 GB. I'll show you some combat as well. There's a creature lurking around the corner. Latency, it's manageable. Massive stutter there. I most probably crossed an invisible wall. There's the creature. Use my flame attack. Still not dead. Dead now. Okay, now I'll change the game's preset to very low. This will disable the in-game upscaler, but you will still be able to use XeSS frame gen. Quality preset set to very low. Restart the game. Execute the console command. Open Optiscaler menu. Yeah, the mod does not detect the in-game upscaler as it's not working. Here we are getting around 70 FPS. VRAM usage is close to 4 GB. Look at that ugly texture shimmering around the stairs. See, not even moving the camera. Completely stationary. Texture shimmering is still present. Upscaler is not working at all. Very variable FPS. Suddenly drop from 70 to 50. VRAM usage is close to 4.1 GB. Without Ultra Plus mod install, here we were seeing a VRAM usage of around 5.5 GB outside. And here's the funny thing, you can even enable XeSS frame generation without upscaling in this game. I'll quickly do this. Active debug view. Yeah, purple sidebars are present. Frame time graph became thick. FPS increased to around 115. See, animation quality, it's looking so smooth. It's better to change the UMA buffer size setting to 6 GB when playing the game on low, when playing the game on very low preset. You'll be getting a much better experience on Rog Ally with the very low graphics preset compared to low graphics preset, but no upscaling, so some texture shimmering will be present. This sequence again. No stuttering here again. Combat. So that's it with the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.